Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott is in major hot water after Baltimore Investigator General accuses him of misuse of his P card. No, not that kind of P. This P card is Brandon Scott's procurement card, which is a high balance credit card given to government officials to handle expenses that they incur in regard to serving the people of Baltimore. Well, as can be expected, Brandon Scott reverts to the only option, it seems, for African American people in leadership on the liberal side of the aisle when they are challenged on anything racism. And that is on full display during this intense exchange he had with a reporter who questioned him about his purchase of a $160,000 luxury SUV as his mayoral vehicle. The reporter highlights the fact that even the governor of the state of Maryland does not use a vehicle that is as expensive as the vehicle that Brandon Scott purchased. I guess bro likes riding clean. Let's check this out.
But with that, his vehicle is still $55,000 less than yours. So again, I'm going to ask you the same question.
Okay, Tessa, we'll just stop you right there. We get it. We understand that your station has this severe right-wing effort underway. We get that. But you also, you guys are dragging this thing out and also not including all the facts. A vehicle that...
See, in moments like these, he starts sounding sassy and he starts talking about right wing. Nobody brought up right wing or left wing. She simply said that the vehicle that he purchased was $55,000 more expensive than the vehicle of the governor of the state of Maryland. The governor has to have the same security protocols. He has to install the same equipment in the vehicle that he chose to purchase. Why is the mayor of Baltimore's vehicle more expensive than the governor's vehicle? That's all she's asking. Turns into right wing and this got to be Republican. Listen, the people whose tax money bro is wasting, they're both Democrat and Republican. So I think this is a bipartisan issue to make sure that the mayor of your city is not using taxpayer dollars to make extravagant purchases.
That was purchased in 2023 is not the same price as 2025, right? You have to understand that reality. When you look at, I'm talking, you can listen to, let me talk, please. We heard your question. You've asked the same idiotic question now for 3 months. We understand that when you look at
I don't understand why there's so much vitriol. I don't understand why he's calling the woman an idiot. If she's been asking the same question for 3 months, well, you should have a very concise answer. Given the answer and moved on. Instead, he's insulting the woman and basically just telling her she doesn't understand. Well, clearly she understands something because the investigator general of Baltimore, who we know for a fact understands, is coming to a conclusion that says that you've been misusing your procurement card, Mr. Brandon Scott. It's absolutely crazy how these people insult people and come off in a condescending tone as if these people are just out to get them because they're black. Bro, you've been mayor for a while. You know what you can and can't do. You know what these people do and don't scrutinize. You have advisors. Just give an answer and move on. The insults are not necessary.
Base price for SUVs. Base price of SUVs now, as you know, between $90,000 and $100,000. You're talking about a police vehicle with police equipment on it added on top of that vehicle. It's very simple. And when you look at, these are not astronomical costs, right? You guys in your station in particular would never ask the president of the United States how much the beast costs. You wouldn't do that.
No, we sure wouldn't ask the president of the United States how much the beast costs because we know that the president of the United States is very concerned with his safety and does everything he has to do to keep himself safe as head of state. What I would ask Brandon Scott is this. You continue to promote soft on crime and defund the police policies, which makes it clear that you don't feel that crime is a serious issue in your city. So why do you need so much security? Why do you need your vehicle to be armed to the teeth, so to speak, when it comes to different security mechanisms to keep yourself safe? Why don't you simply drive a regular vehicle like everyone else in Baltimore whose safety you don't seem to be concerned about? Also, he talks about the price of an SUV being $100,000. That's drawing criticism because he just signed an order that demanded that the city of Baltimore's service fleet, this means the buses, this means the people driving the little cars that where they check your parking meter, all the cars that work in service of the city, they operate in service of the city, switch to zero emissions. So this basically means they're going to switch their entire fleet of city service cars to electric. And I believe this involves switching the buses even to electric, if not some type of natural gas. So he orders the city's fleet to become zero emissions, and he's buying a gas guzzler. He's buying a humongous SUV. He could have bought a Honda. He could have bought a Tesla and secured that.
You would never do that. This is ridiculous. Let it go. Next question.
For Governor Moore as well. His car costs about $78,000 to $80,000, and he drives across the state. Governor Hogan's car costs $70,000. Now again, that was bought when he was state.
That's a long time ago. And I also would, well, you looked at, I understand that. I did answer the question. Just because you didn't get the answer that you wanted in your racist slant, that's one thing. But
see, and that for me right there, that kills it. Your racist slant. It's racist because she wants you to be accountable for the money that you're spending, which is taxpayer money. This is not going to work. This is why these cities look the way they look. This is why they look like war zones, because every attempt to hold these people accountable is met with an accusation of racism. And then people get scared of being seen as racist and they back off. But thank God, I feel like those days are coming to an end. People are not scared anymore of being called racist, and they shouldn't be. Hold this guy accountable. Make sure he's not wasting taxpayer dollars. So what's going on is, to get into a little bit more detail, they're saying that this guy is misusing this procurement card. He's abusing it because they're reporting that he has spent almost $60,000 on catering in Baltimore Ravens games and Baltimore Orioles games. So the mayor is going to sporting events on the people's dime. You would think that as mayor he would get a free ticket, but they're saying approximately $52,588 of taxpayer funds was spent on food and beverages at Baltimore Orioles and Ravens games, specifically in the mayoral suite. So he is, I guess, getting a free ticket. He's getting a free access to the games, but he's spending $52,000 on food when he's there. Bro, who you buying food for? Even if you went to the game and just bought food for you and your family and were modest, say we'll spend 100, 200 bucks, that would not add up to $52,000 in a year. Also, they're saying that he had celebratory spending. Funds were also used for internal office celebrations, birthday parties, baby showers, and flowers for select executive leadership. I'm not really sweating them on that. You're going to have the occasional office party. You got to make the people feel appreciated. As long as it's people within the leadership apparatus, I'm okay with that. So I'll shoot them some bell on that one. Now they're saying that there was a lack of transparency on youth funding. They're saying that the mayor has been accused of struggling to explain how he spent $7 million in 2025, transferring it directly to the mayor's office rather than to the youth nonprofits that they were claiming it was for. Also, they're saying that there is a nonprofit organization tied to the mayor's wife that has received $100,000 in taxpayer funds and other grants, but then announced a organizational pause. They basically stopped doing business and then eventually shut down in 2026. They're saying the group also received $80,000 for a storefront office that never opened. It also faced legal action for unpaid rent in this storefront office and was listed as delinquent on a charity database. So the inspector general is Isabel Cumming, and she filed this lawsuit in February of 2026. They're saying that the administration is attempting to exert political influence over the investigator general by requiring unfettered access to be approved by the city's legal department first. So basically, they don't want to let Isabel go in and look at what she needs to look at to determine whether or not this dude's been misusing funds. That tells me that he is misusing funds. And when you start talking about these nonprofits connected to his wife, and they got $80,000 for a storefront that never opened and then never paid rent on it, it's looking fishy. I am going to say I believe Brandon Scott is doing something he's not supposed to do, or he has been doing things he wasn't supposed to do. And I'm hoping that he's held accountable for it. We got to do better in these positions as Black people, man. You got to kind of know when you get in one of these positions, you're going to be scrutinized, especially in a liberal city, because you have so many different people who would love to take your place? Why even put yourself in a position where you are suspected of doing this? Me personally, hey, I'm the mayor at the Baltimore Ravens game or the Baltimore Orioles game. Hell, we'll bring our own food or we'll spend a couple of dollars and keep the receipts. But to abuse city funds the way they're alleging he did is totally inappropriate. And it's even worse to turn around and holler racism when someone is attempting to hold you accountable. If you didn't do anything wrong, you have nothing to hide. Give the investigator general access to the files. It is her right. It is within the scope of her job, and answer the reporter's questions in a respectful way. Let me know what you think in the comments. Until the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, but most importantly, take care of each other. Peace.